who got through The Voice Season 28 premiere. Meet the 9 artists who aced their blind auditions. The Season 28 premiere of The Voice, on September 22, 2025, was jam-packed with talented artists vying for a spot on one of the 4 celebrity coaches' teams. Reba McEntire, Niall Horan, Snoop Dogg, and Michael Bublé battled over many of the singers, some of whom made surprising decisions about which team they wanted to join. Here are the 10 artists who got at least one chair turn, meaning they're moving forward in the competition. Aiden Ross, The Voice Season 28 artist. Aiden Ross, a sophomore at Texas A&M University, took producers into his dorm, where he has as many instruments as textbooks, and gave a tour of his family's farm, which includes over 24,000 strawberry plants. On September 19th, just before his national TV debut, 20-year-old Ross released his first single, Everything and More. Ross, who was homecoming king at his high school, was accompanied to The Voice set by his parents and merely hoped to get one coach to turn a chair. But within seconds of his audition, singing Adele's Love in the Dark, all 4 coaches turned around for him. McEntire told Ross his voice was mesmerizing, and Bublé said it was obvious that all 4 of the coaches were enchanted by him. Snoop then called him Aiden Ross the boss and promised he'd work closely with him after the show, so Horan made another plea to Ross to join his team, and it worked. Aiden Ross is on Team Neil. Mindy Miller, The Voice Season 28 artist. Nashville mom Mindy Miller told producers that making a team would be absolutely life-changing. The singer-songwriter has released multiple songs. Her most recent is a cover of Fleetwood Mac's Gold Dust Woman, recorded in March and released on September 16th. Snoop turned within a second of hearing Miller's, as she sang Wildflowers and Wild Horses. McEntire turned, too, only to discover that Snoop had already used his block on her. When Snoop went to give Miller a hug and welcome her to his team, her little boy Leo adorably ran out onto the stage, into Snoop's arms. Mindy Miller is on Team Snoop. Max Chambers, The Voice Season 28 artist. The youngest contestant of the night was 14-year-old Max Chambers, who was dressed smartly in a powder blue suit as he sang Michael Jackson's I Want You Back. Bublé and McEntire turned their chairs. When they asked if Chambers liked Michael Jackson's music, he revealed that he starred on Broadway as a young Michael in MJ the Musical. That made both coaches want the young singing sensation on their teams even more, but in the end he chose to go with Bublé. Max Chambers is on Team Bublé. Manny Costello, The Voice Season 28 artist. Girl dad Manny Costello from Athens, Georgia, brought McEntire to tears with his rendition of Craig Morgan's Almost Home. The 28-year-old said the song gives him a good perspective on life, choking up as he talked about his beloved girls, who are big fans of McEntire's show Reba, and wanting to show them that they can put anything they put their minds to. Costello noted that he's new to music and only plays at home, but you couldn't tell it from his performance. As soon as Costello hit the chorus of the song, McEntire turned her chair, quickly followed by Snoop. As McEntire told Costello, "You made me homesick," and that he had pieces of many great classic country artists in his voice, from George Jones to Randy Travis, she got choked up. Snoop handed her some tissues, and she said she was crying tears of joy. Horan said it was amazing that he'd moved the queen of country music to tears. Not surprisingly, he chose to go with McEntire. Manny Costello is on Team Reba. DK of Hearts, The Voice Season 28 artists. A Nashville-based trio called DK of Hearts blew the coaches away with their rendition of Heads Carolina, Tails California, and McEntire instantly looked impressed with their harmonies. Almost immediately, she turned her chair, followed by Horan, Snoop, and then Bublé. The trio's rousing performance got all 4 coaches to give them a standing ovation. The group then explained that their name, DK of Hearts, stands for their first names, Dylan, Emily, and Colin, and that they have been a group for about 14 months. They released their single Taillights days before their blind audition aired. After Snoop and Horan spoke about how impressed they were, McEntire hilariously said it was her turn to talk and said, I love three-part harmonies. It touches the core of my being. I can't tell you how important this is to me for y'all to be on my team." And she also predicted they'll make it to the finals. Everyone thought it was a foregone conclusion that the trio would choose McEntire, but in a huge shock, though, they said they're a country pop trio, so they chose Horan, who looked absolutely stunned and later called it one of the biggest shocks in voice history. McEntire sprawled out on the floor in defeat, pretending to sob. But Team Neil gets DK of Hearts. Payton Kyle, The Voice Season 28 artist. After a break, The Voice returned with a Freddie Mercury lookalike in a rhinestone-covered black jacket, who introduced Dawn and Susan Parr with him backstage, whom he described as the sweetest couple I've ever met in my life. The artist, 26-year-old Payton Kyle, explained that when he moved from Tampa, Florida, to Georgia 3 years prior, they attended one of his shows and became huge supporters. After a show, they gave Kyle a $400 tip to do whatever he needed to do to try out for The Voice. He actually started crying, Dawn told producers. "He's just like one of our kids. We love him to death." Kyle then shared that upon landing in Los Angeles, his appendix ruptured. "A lot of pain. I needed to have surgery immediately. In the hospital bed, not knowing if I was going to be able to be here after all this hard work, it was extremely scary." He made it to the audition just 3 days later to sing Bruno Mars' Talking to the Moon. He said that a specific line in the song, "At night, when I sit in my room, I talk to the stars talking to the moon," resonated powerfully with him because he didn't have much to hold on to in his hospital room, wondering if he'd make it to The Voice. "Everything that I overcome, it's a part of my story, it's a part of who I am. The next chapter's all up to me. I realize that now more than ever." After a soft start, McEntire hit her button, but no one else did, and Horan looked pained about it on Kyle's last note, telling him once he turned around, "I'm kicking myself." But Kyle Payton is on Team Reba. Ralph Edwards, The Voice Season 28 artist. The next artist, 30-year-old Ralph Edwards from Fresno, California, revealed he has watched The Voice since it began in 2011 and has auditioned 11 times. "But this is the farthest I've ever gotten. Today is going to be the biggest nerve-wracking day of my life because I'm auditioning for the biggest show in the world," he told producers. "I'm going to put my entire body and soul into making those chairs turn around, but I'm very nervous." As he sang Journey's Lights, all 4 coaches hit their buttons, and his parents and girlfriend went crazy backstage with Daly as they did. "That is how you audition for The Voice," Horan told him, before they all passionately made cases for being Edwards' coach. McEntire told him it was a perfect performance, and Bublé predicted, "Whoever you choose is going to win The Voice." Snoop upped the ante by bringing out members of his family, who are on his label to show Edwards he's serious about signing artists he loves. That seemed to do the trick because Ralph Edwards is on Team Snoop. Jack Austin, The Voice Season 28 artist. Jack Austin, 21, is a musical theater student at Western Michigan University, performing in theater productions since he was a kid. He made a bold decision to sing Horan's This Town in front of him, admitting he was really nervous but excited. Horan smiled as he heard his song, and Bublé almost immediately turned his chair, followed by Horan. McEntire eventually turned, too. Once the song was over, Horan cutely said, "Thank you for the song. I really appreciate it." He told Austin he loved his melody choices, and then suggested they sing part of it together. It was beautiful, and Austin said it was a dream come true. Bublé knew after that it was a lost cause to even try to fight for Austin, and he was right. He chose his new duet partner as his coach. Jack Austin is on Team Neil. Jazz McKenzie, The Voice Season 28 artist. The final audition of the night was by 31-year-old Jazz McKenzie from Birmingham, Alabama, who revealed her big personality right out of the gate. She works at a cell phone store but performs occasionally, she said. Her family watches The Voice all the time, her mom said backstage. "And to know my baby is here, she's a part of it, I just can't even contain how much joy I have." McKenzie then went out to perform Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do with It. As she hit the powerful chorus, McEntire turned her chair and blocked Snoop. McKenzie got a 4-chair turn, and Horan tried to point out to Snoop that he was blocked, but it didn't register with him. When the coaches finally explained, he hilariously said he just thought his name was in red and hadn't read the word blocked. McEntire then told McKenzie, "When a singer starts singing and it shoots through the air at someone's heart, you know that person's truly blessed, and I was hit so hard by your beautiful voice. I'd love to have you on my team, but wherever you wind up, the Voice is very blessed to have you." Bublé then amusingly said he felt like if he only had the luck of the Irish on his side like Horan and McEntire, he might get someone to choose his team. Suddenly, 3 Irish dancers came out to do a jig, and Horan joined in. Snoop and Bublé tried their best, dancing their own steps. Incredibly, it seemed to have worked because McKenzie chose Bublé. Jazz McKenzie is on Team Bublé. The Voice Season 28 Blind Auditions will continue with another 2-hour episode on September 23rd. Here's where the teams stand after the first night.